SGC here, and we're back for First Impression, Minority Report, Season 1, Episode 1. So there we have it. Minority Report, the movie starring Tom Cruise back in 2002, has a TV show now, done by Fox, and lo and behold, I didn't look up the development of the show when it was first announced and everything, so I didn't really follow it. So when it came out, I was like, oh, it's an actual sequel. So it actually takes place 15 years after the movie back in 2002. And just a refresher, Minority Report talked about these pre-crime people, that they had these telepathic psychic twins and a sister who could see visions, and pre-crime cops would go in and hunt people down and prevent crimes from even happening. So that's what happens 15 years ago. Now, 15 years now, Precog, one of the precogs by the name of Dash, they sort of... Wait, hold up. Going back a bit. So Pre-Crimes was dismantled, and it was done back in 2015, and it forced law enforcement to rely on newer methods on stopping crime. So these precogs now seem as useless pretty much because they're out of the program. So the three of them, Agatha, Dash, and Arthur, like leave and they go on an island or something. And then from the first episode, they don't tell you much what happened to them, but Arthur is like missing, Agatha's still at the house, and Dash left and just tried to live on his own. And now all of a sudden he's getting these visions, and he's like, I want to stop these crimes. So he tries to stop these crimes, and he meets up with a cop by the name of Detective Laura Vega, and they, work together and try to solve crime, sort of thing. And that's the first episode about how they meet. And he has to explain who he is, and they're like, okay, we're gonna work together to stop this crime. So, first episode. I would definitely say the narrative by Dash is alright. I accepted it. I sort of felt that there was a lot of info that couldn't be told through the visuals, as in there are a lot of visuals with the scientific stuff, so I'm saying, like, you gotta rely on narrative dialogue. Not narrative dialogue, more like narrative monologue, talking to himself, sort of thing. And I was fine with it. His acting by Stark Sands is alright, I guess. He's the awkward social thing. Obviously, we don't know much or how awkward he can be socially because we don't know what an actual precog is. Unlike in Mr. Robot, that dude was totally, a hacker is pretty awkward. But here, I would say the first 15 minutes of him monologuing about the narrative about what's happening with his life is totally fine. I think that was cool. The visuals are cool. The futuristic stuff is cool. And then, for me, then it reminded me that it was a TV show when Laura Vega, played by Megan Good, comes out. And it's just like, holy crap. Their lines, the narrative, the plot is really sad. As in, like, there's this really cool world that you can play with, and all of a sudden, you have Megan Good. It just feels like she keeps reminding you that this is a TV show, and it's not immersive at all, because her line delivery is really, like, awkward, and in terms of directing and writing, the dialogue sometimes gets really, like, just uncomfortably bad. And the whole hand motion of everything is, like, I would feel that if everything was hand motion, it sucks. Like when we have Iron Man now with Jarvis, it's like, seriously, Jarvis, turn on the lights. Or like Jarvis knows that I'm home and he would turn on the lights. But to have all this like hand motion, like I feel that's more closer to a real future, but I really prefer AI controls rather than hand motions. Like, okay, like Johnny Nemec, or whatever, like, to do everything just feels weird. Like, it just looks awkward. Like, for them, because when they show, like, oh, in their eyes, it looks like this. But when they pan it out and show what they're actually doing, it looks pretty stupid. But I guess that's the future. But it's sad. And also, there's a lot of action in terms of just fighting crime, and it's really awkward. There's just one cool sequence where they, not really cool, but kind of like something new. They shoot these grappling hooks, and these cops like literally fly in on the lines, and they do this, they just like roll, and then obviously it's green screen because it doesn't even make sense, because he rolls and he keeps sliding, but it looks super unnatural. And then they're like, hey, we got the drop on the bad guy. And then Megan Good comes out of nowhere. It's like, So why did you show that awesome entry and have Megan Good show up before everybody? Like, that was just bad writing. And I looked up the writer who wrote this series, Max Bernstein. He's the guy that wrote Godzilla. He's writing the Kong Island, and he's also writing the next Godzilla. So I hope he improves on his sequencing. It's just really awkward. There's one sequence where her parents come home, or her mom comes home, and she's in the kitchen, and like she walks out of the screen, the shot, but she comes running in and sliding into the next shot, and it feels really jarring, and it's just awkward. Yeah, I beyond that, I somewhat enjoyed it. It has this charm of it being a stupid TV show. It takes itself a little bit too seriously. I give it props for having a diverse cast. There's a Chinese lady playing a supporting cast, and it's a white male, and Megan Good herself is black, and the other dude is probably, I don't know, but he's not white. So the white representation here is really low, so that's always a plus in terms of just TV in general. And yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, it's gonna be a crime fighting thing every episode, and I'm not really digging the banter between Laura Vega and Dash. And I mean, there is one plus, I guess, is that they actually brought in Daniel London, who was in the actual movie Minority Report back in '02, and he's in it here. So I guess there's sort of some connection in terms of acting, but he's not like he got a great huge role. And yeah, I don't know what to expect. And it seems like it's gonna be a whole just crime fighting episode sort of thing, and I don't know if I really want that. It's like the whole, I'm gonna figure out life, figure out my brother, figure out crime, figure out what it means to be a human because he has an identity now, and all that stuff. But Megan Good really, for me, is the whole cringe every time she delivers her lines. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Visually, I still say visually is pretty awesome, but I feel that there's a very heavy reliance on CGI and green screening everything. Like, I swear, everyone's like, oh, let's get plastic phones, but it actually looks really stupid now that the TV shows have them. It's like a piece of plastic. They're literally holding a piece of plastic, and then they'll like CGI green screen or whatever the info onto the plastic, but when it's off, it looks really stupid. And I actually don't want to see that in our future. But it's probably going to be our future. It's probably the closest thing that we'll have, because hand motions do happen now. If you have seen like the commercial for the BMW 7 Series, turning up the volume, lowering, all that stuff. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this first impression. I didn't really expect much from it, and I think it somehow really even disappointed me further. I liked where it was going in the very beginning of 15 minutes, but afterwards it was like, come on, acting, improve please. And visually, like I said, it looks fine, but cinematographically, it's just a normal TV show. And yeah, so that's it. That's it for this first impression of Minority Report Season 1, Episode 1. Out.